Hello and welcome back to another video on the Football Zone and to a weekend review, reviewing all of this weekend's Premier League and Championship action. So without further ado, let's get straight into it with Friday's Premier League action. Brentford 2, Brighton 0. Antonio opened scoring in the 27th minute and he doubled it in the second half from a penalty spot. And yeah, what a great win this was for Brentford. Brighton probably had the majority of the play, 72% possession, 21 shots compared to Brentford 7. But you know, Brentford were clinical, Tony was on it. For me, he has to go to the World Cup. And yeah, big win for Brentford. Brighton need a win under the Derby really. But moving on then to Leicester 0, Palace 0. And yeah, the King Power Stadium. Leicester, I would say they were probably slightly better side here, had more goal attempts, more shots on goal, etc, etc. So yeah, they'll probably be the side that's frustrated not to come away with a win. Still got this one at the top, but yeah, you do feel like it's a result that will add more pressure onto Brendan Rodgers. For Palace, even with Leicester start the season, it's still an incredibly tough place to go, so I think that'll take a point. But at the same time, Military is a win for the taking, but I think they'll probably be happy with a point. But moving on then to Wolves 1, Forest 0 at Molineux. And yeah, Ruben Neves with the only goal of the game in the 56th minute. Brennan Johnson in the 79th minute missed from the spot to cost Nottingham Forest a point. And yeah, that would be deeply frustrating for Forest. And in terms of the game itself, there's probably not a lot to separate the two sides. So I think Forest will be gutted, especially with that missed penalty. But for Wolves, it's a big win, and yeah, definitely a much needed one. But moving on then to Fulham 2, Bournemouth 2 at Craven Cottage. And yes, Solanke gave Bournemouth lead in the second minute before Diop in the 22nd minute levelled things up. Lerner just 7 minutes later, they gave Bournemouth lead again, but Mitrovic in the 52nd, controversial penalty to say the least really, put Fulham back ahead in the 52nd minute. And yeah, I tend to agree that probably wasn't a penalty, but you know, still on the whole, a good point for Fulham. Probably were the stronger side throughout it, but Bournemouth did enough for a point. And yeah, they've got to be happy under Gary O'Neill at the moment. But moving on then to Saturday evening's action, and it finished Tottenham 2, Everton 0. Harry Kane with a penalty in the 59th minute, a bit of a dubious penalty over that one. I would probably say he looked for the foul, but in the end Pickford did oblige. So yeah, Højbjerg got the other goal in the 86th minute, but in the end another good win for Tottenham, keeping the pressure on the top two, especially with Man City's defeat this week. And yeah, on the whole, you can't really argue that Tottenham weren't deserving the victory at all really. So yeah, I think Tottenham will be very pleased with that. Moving on then to Southampton 1, West Ham 1 on Sunday now, and yeah, Perrault gave Southampton lead in the 20th minute under huge controversy. And Declan Rice directly a point for West Ham in the second half in the 64th minute. And yeah, West Ham, I would say, probably the best side here, and they'll be the team that's disappointed with the win. Because yeah, more possession, more goal attempts. But then Southampton did have 8 shots on goal compared to West Ham 4. So you know, slightly skewed. But I think West Ham probably will be disappointed, especially with a dodgy decision going against them in the first half. Moving on then to Manchester United 0, Newcastle 0 at Old Trafford. And yeah, this was a game that saw Manchester United probably be in control, but in the end couldn't get the crucial breakthrough. And yeah, I'd probably say a draw was the fair result here. Newcastle played well, did enough for a point, so they'll be delighted with that. Newcastle definitely the happiest side here, and yeah, they're all getting some good momentum now under Eddie Howe, especially after last week's great result. But moving on then to league leaders Arsenal, as they defeated Leeds 1-0. And yeah, this was an incredibly weird game because it got delayed 10 minutes in due to technical failures and all sorts of stuff. But when they played in resumed, Saka in the 35th minute gave Arsenal the lead. Bamford missed a penalty in the 64th minute, and Gabriel booked in the 95th minute, and Arsenal really were hanging on. But yeah, in the end they just about had it. Good sides when they're not playing well, and that's definitely the case here with Arsenal, so they'll be absolutely delighted. For Leeds, they're frustrating, but they did give one of the best teams in the league a good game. But moving on then to Villa 0, Chelsea 2 at Villa Park. Villa here we're just kind of giving the first goal away through Tyrone Mings, I think that's fair to say. Mount scoring, and then Mount with a beautiful free kick. The first goal was lucky, that one definitely wasn't. A beautiful free kick to give Chelsea the victory, and another good win for Chelsea under Graham Potter, and they're doing really, really well under him so far. Just 4 points behind Man City and Tottenham now with a game in hand, so yeah, going along nicely. But moving on then to the big game of the weekend, Liverpool V Man City, and yeah, what a great result for Liverpool this was. Foden scored in the 53rd minute. It was disallowed, but Mo Salah in the 76th minute with a long ball from Alisson got the better of the defender, and Liverpool got the win. Klopp was also sent off, but yeah, on the whole, Liverpool competed really well. I would say maybe Man City will be aggrieved not to come away with anything, but still great result for Liverpool. That should give them much needed confidence. We should see the old Liverpool back now, in my opinion. But moving on then to the Championship, and starting off on Saturday with a big game down at the bottom, you would probably say come the end of the season, with Rotherham 2, Huddersfield 1, and Rotherham took the lead before Huddersfield equalised, but in the second half it was Kelly for Rotherham who gave them the win, and a game with not much between two sides. So Huddersfield will be disappointed not to come away with anything, you probably say, but still good result for Rotherham, and crucial, and then just gives them more space towards the relegation zone, really. But moving on into Luton 3, QPR 1, probably a game between two sides you think would be further up there come the end of the season, Adebayo gave Luton the lead in the 18th minute before Dunn scored an own goal to make it 2-0, but there was 2 goals in the stoppage time, one for Luton, one for QPR, another own goal for QPR. But Luton deserving the win, I would say. Big win for them, and QPR a bit disappointing after the momentum they've been building, but definitely not the end of the world. Still had a great start. Moving on then to Cardiff 0, Coventry 1, and Gokeres was the only goal of the game in the 34th minute, and a game with not much between the two sides, I'd say. But Coventry will be delighted to come out on top, because obviously we know they've had a tough start to the season, so this could be a big win for them now to hopefully get momentum, you'd say. And Coventry, I think they will start to go up the table, but Cardiff, disappointing, sitting in 18th after the great run they've been on so far under into manager. This will be definitely a tough defeat to take. But moving on then to Swansea against Burnley, and it's a 4-0 win for Burnley. Vitinho, Rodriguez, Zauri and Rodriguez with the goals. Piri was also sent off, but that's when it was kind of game over. But still a big blow for Swansea to be missing him in their future games. Burnley were just too good for Swansea here, really showing what they could do. Prime company ball really coming into effect now, and for Swansea, considering they've been on such good momentum before, this will be disappointing for them, you definitely say. But moving on then to Sunderland as they moving on to Sheffield United against Blackpool, and Bury Hill, this was a quiet game. McAfee gave Sheffield in the 8th minute, and then Dye in the 24th minute, and from there on you think it'd be game over, but no, 2 from Yates and Dougal made it 3-2 to Blackpool. No one saw that coming. Blackpool then got 2 reds in the space of 3 minutes, with Ekapita and Thompson getting sent off. Brewster missed the penalty before Ollie Warwood in the 98th minute gave Sheffield United the equaliser, and no, that was not it, as Fotheringham and Lavery was sent off for Blackpool and Sheffield United, and just absolutely incredible. Where do you even start with this game, from it being 2-0 to the home side, and then scuffing up to a team that's struggling, and then 4 red cards. Just absolutely bloody crazy, not much you can say really, just one of those mental games. Then it was Sunderland 2, Wigan 1 at the Stadium of Light. Charlie Wyke with a goal against the old side in the 44th minute, before Embleton and Kirkin with the goals for Sunderland, finally scoring after a long time without goal for Sunderland. And big win from Sunderland, coming back from behind as well. I think that'll give them some much needed confidence. Good win for them, but for Wigan, leading and chucking it away like that, I think will be deeply frustrating, really. But still not the end of the world, still having a decent season. But I think this one will definitely be a frustrating game for them. But Sunderland, I think, good win, and that could really kick-start some momentum. But moving on then to Steve Bruce's first game, not at West Brom, and they saw them win 2-0 away at Reading. Goals either side of half-time from Phillips and Gardner Hickman, and great win for West Brom. Reading probably had maybe better of the game, but West Brom just more clinical. 3 shots on goal, 2 goals, can't really complain about that. Big win for West Brom. For Reading, though, bit of a dip, and they need to get results soon, otherwise they could start slowing down the table. But for West Brom, like I say, big win, and I think now Bruce has gone, could find into some momentum. Moving on then to Preston 0, Stoke 2 at Deepdale and Smallbone and Campbell with the 2 goals for Stoke. Big win for Stoke. On the whole, I'd say they were deserving the victory here. Definitely the better side. For Preston it'll be frustrating because they haven't really been able to follow up that big win away at Norwich with 2 losses on the trot now. So that's deeply disappointing. But still Stoke starting to find some momentum now under Alex Neil. It's kind of what we all expected to happen. But moving on then to win-lose. Blackburn, who defeated Middlesbrough 2-1 at Ewood Park. Lenihan and Gallagher with 2 goals early on. Watmore in the 45th minute stoppage time made it 2-1, but Middlesbrough couldn't find the equaliser in the second half. Like I say, great win for Blackburn, even if Middlesbrough were pushing, but still big win for them. Their form is just absolutely incredible. It's just impossible to analyse. But for Middlesbrough, after some promise, kind of seems like peaced out since Wilder's gone. But moving on then to Bristol City 1, Millwall 2 at Ashton Gate. Bradshaw with a goal in the 44th minute gave Millwall a lead, but Hutchinson in the 71st minute own goal levelled the scoring, but Fleming in the 76th made it 2-1 to Millwall again. A fair win missed a penalty to seal the deal late on. But in the end, it didn't matter. Bristol City, they're certainly beating here. Millwall are outstanding, and you feel like that could be some momentum boost they need. But Bristol City, another disappointing result. Moving on then to Watford 2, Norwich 1, and a big win for Watford. This Larser missed a penalty in the 13th minute, but he made up for it 5 minutes later with a goal to make it 1-0, but Davis in the 31st minute made it 2. Sargent on the stroke of half-time made it 2-1, but in the end Watford held on to a big victory, and they'll be absolutely delighted with that. That could really give them some momentum now under Slaven Bilic. It's been a bit of an iffy start, but hopefully this gives them some momentum. But for Norwich though, they need a win desperately because it's not going too well recently. But moving on then to Hull 0, Birmingham 2 at the KCOM, and Deeney with a goal and Bakuna with a goal either side of half time. Deeney also missed a penalty in the 74th minute, and Birmingham really outclassed Hull here. Hull's leaky defence coming to show again. Really 3 shots on goal, 2 went in, of course, other one's penalty. So really disappointing from Hull. But Birmingham, big win, and they're starting to find some momentum now under John Eustace, which is obviously great for them. But anyway guys, that's it for the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, leave your thoughts, comments down below, informative, for daily football news, and subscribe to my channel, it's greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.